Good morning, everyone. This is Leah Dixon in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am here today for day 3 of my Stampin' the Rainbow extravaganza. So today we are featuring yellow in our rainbow. So I'm looking at using crushed curry and Saffron ink, as well as some gorgeous designer series paper, the Fine Art Floral designer series paper that has some beautiful yellow tones in it. So I'm going to switch my camera down to my desktop view so you guys can see what's happening there. I'm going to get started creating. All right, there we go. And I'm just going to pop a comment here in the box. So hopefully as you guys pop on, I'll be able to see you and see your comments. Now I'm not sure what happened. Apparently we've just skipped back. I was at 4 minutes into our live and now we're at 1 minute. It says we're having trouble playing this video. Just going to give it a moment and see what happens and see if we can get our screen back or if I'm going to have to restart. I see that 2 people just popped on. If you can actually see this, maybe you can just put a little message into the box and let me know. Hi, Danielle. Are you seeing my face or are you seeing my tabletop right now? I'm just going to wait and see what you guys let me know. Hopefully it's not a blank screen like the other day. And I don't know how much of a delay we have. You're seeing my desktop. Okay, wonderful. Well, then I'm going to go on as though I can see my desktop and let's start creating. So we're going to be using the Cute Fruit stamp set today. This stamp set is not in our regular catalog. It's just in our beginner's brochure. So lots of people don't know that it even exists. But it is a super fun one. And today, because it is a beginner set, I'm going to kind of walk you through 3 cards. A beginner, like a medium, and an avid card. And we'll show you guys, and actually our avid card doesn't get that avid, it just uses some embellishments. So really a beginner and two medium cards. So I'm going to move that stamp set out of the way, and I'm going to bring in our first supplies. So we're just starting with a piece of thick basic white cardstock. I just took a sheet of cardstock and cut it at 4 1/4, so right down the middle, and I scored it at 5 1/2 to create our card base. And in fact, on this card, this is our whole card. So we are going to come on in here with some crushed curry. So there's our yellow for the day. And I've grabbed the body of the pineapple, and I'm going to stamp a pineapple right over here on the right-hand side of our card. Oh, that did not ink well. What is going on? Okay, well, we'll just use it as it is and go from there. So now I've also stamped one of my images onto a sticky note, and I've just cut out the edge of it. This is going to allow me to put that over top and cover up entirely that pineapple that I just stamped. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do a better job of inking this guy. And I'm going to ink them up. I'm going to stamp a second one, just a little bit overlapping. And that's a much better stamp. There we go. All right, so if we pull that off, we've got our 2 pineapple bodies, I guess, done there. And we're going to put away our ink for a moment and grab the Pear Pizzazz. And what I love about this stamp set is everything lines up so easily. It is so simple to use different colors on one image. So there we go. There's our pineapple, 2 colors, 1 image, and it was so easy to line up because it is the clear, the photopolymer stamps. So it just makes it so simple to create quick and easy cute fruit. Now I've got my sentiment here. It says, I couldn't ask for a sweeter friend. And I'm going to take that, come over here beside, and stamp that sentiment. voila. That is our first card done. Like, it really doesn't get any easier than that. It is a quick little image, a quick little sentiment, and voila, you have a sweet little card to send off to somebody. Now, if you are, like most of us, I think, we're just a little bit beyond stamping images on straight up white cardstock, we can get a little more detailed, and we're still going to have that white cardstock base, but we're going to incorporate now a piece of designer series paper. So we've got, this is from the Fine Art Floral 12 by 12 designer series paper, and I cut this at 4 by 5 1/4 to add a nice little layer onto our background. So before we glue that on though, we're going to do a little bit of stamping here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get some white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp my pineapple directly onto this white cardstock. Now I'm looking at this and hoping that it's big enough. It should be. I need it to be big enough for my pineapple. So I'm going to put my pineapple base on there. There we go. And my top. All right. So I hope you guys are all having a great day. It looks like it's going to be another sunny one, just waiting for the temperature to rise a little before I go out into my garden. There we go. So there's our top and our bottom all together. And now we're not going to leave it on this little rectangle that I cut out. I mean, we certainly could, but what I'd rather do is fussy cut this guy. So this set doesn't come with dies or anything. We just grab a good old pair of paper snips, and we're going to cut out around the edges here. And cut. There we go. All right, so while I'm doing this fussy cutting, I'll just let you know my Stampin' the Rainbow extravaganza is going on all week. I'm literally stamping my way through the rainbow. I worked with the Hey Chick bundle on Sunday in red, real red. Yesterday I worked with the Tasteful Touches and butterflies and created an orange card in Calypso Coral and Terracotta Tile. Today we're working with yellow in Crushed Curry and pretty soon some So Saffron. And tomorrow will be green for St. Patrick's Day. And I wanted to let you guys know that my Stampin' the Rainbow extravaganza special that I'm having all week long is that with any orders of $60 or more as your subtotal, you're going to get a free ink pad from me. But Stampin' Up! Has gone and sweetened the pot for you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and it truly is your lucky day. Stampin' Up! Is offering free shipping. Hi, Norma. So Stampin' Up's offering free shipping tomorrow. It technically starts at 11 p.m. here, our time, because it starts at midnight Mountain Time. And it goes until 11:59 Mountain Time on March the 17th. So basically, your order has to be started and finished during tomorrow's times. So March 17th in whatever time zone you're in. Or not, actually, sorry, not your time zone, in Mountain Time Zone. All right, so kind of a sweet deal. So you'll still get the free ink pad, but you'll also get free shipping tomorrow. Okay, so I've got one pineapple fussy cut. I'm not going to make you guys sit and watch me fussy cut a second one. So here we go. By the magic of TV, I now have 2 pineapples all fussy cut. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just a scrap of paper. So I get these little 1/2-inch scraps of paper. I have a bajillion of them because when I cut cardstock down to create the 4 by 5 1/4 layer that you see, that happens to be a 1/2 inch that gets taken off. So I actually cut my cardstock down to 8 by 10 1/2, and I get these little 1/2 inch strips, and then I divide it up from there. So with this little 1/2 inch strip that I've got, this is where I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to kind of stamp it leftish on here. It doesn't actually really matter because I'm going to do a little bit of trimming of this anyways. Oh, there we go. Oh, and that wasn't very straight. So luckily, all paper has two sides, and I should have done what I like to do when I'm stamping sentiments. For some reason, when I put my paper vertically, I have a much easier time lining it up and making it straight. Not really sure why, but that's how my brain works. So there we go. I've got that done. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of snipping here. I'm going to come in here and do just a little snip that way. And I'm going to snip off a little bit of this because I don't need quite so much of it. So there we go. Get rid of those. Now I'm going to glue my whole card together. So this is still fairly simple stamping. We're not doing anything crazy here. We've got a piece of designer series paper, and we're going to just glue this to our card base. Now I do like to use liquid glue because it gives me that chance to do a little wiggle and make sure things get straight. Then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my sentiment and making sure that I'm gluing down my crooked one. And I'm going to put this on here, right about there. Then I'm going to glue down my pineapples. And yes, for those of you who are like, know that I am the dimensional queen, yes, I am gluing these down. Okay, now do I want this one? Yeah, I want this one to go behind. All right, so I'm going to glue that as close as I can to that friend spot. So I am gluing these down because for this to truly be considered still simple stamping, we're not going to use anything other than our liquid glue. That is it. So there we go. We've got our little pineapples glued down, and it's just a tiny step up. So it's essentially the same card, but you can see we've made like that next step in making it just a little bit fancier. Oh, thank you, Lila. I know I love the pineapples too. I've been playing around with the pineapples a bit because I'm getting ready to make new name tags for our desks at school, and I have a couple of kids who are just completely obsessed with pineapples. So I think I'm going to find a way to incorporate those onto their name tags. All right, so our final card is really going to step it up a bit. Not going to make you guys watch me fussy cut yet another pineapple. So I have two here already done. We're changing it up a bit though. Instead of a white background, we're going to go with a crushed curry background. So it's still the same cut, same fold, but it's crushed curry this time. I've cut a piece of Saffron at the 4 by 5 1/4 measurements that I told you about. And then a 1/4 inch smaller than that is what I have made my designer series paper layer. Okay, so just kind of getting all of those layers happening. Now, before I actually go ahead and glue all of that down, I'm going to glue my designer series paper to my Saffron. And I gotta say, guys, this is a little bit challenging for me. I'm working completely blind. Like, I can see what I'm doing, obviously, but I cannot see what you guys can see. My screen is showing black. So I'm so glad you guys can see my desktop because I cannot, and so I don't even know, like, I'm hoping I'm in the screen for you guys and stuff like that. So there we have it. I've glued my designer series paper to my Saffron. Now, part of the reason I did that is because I like the look, but the biggest reason I did that is to kind of add a little bit of stability to this piece because I'm going to wrap some linen thread around it. And I find if you try to wrap linen thread around just a single layer of designer series paper, it is very flimsy and it's very challenging to actually get that, like, to not fold up on itself and everything. Okay, so I wrapped that around twice, and now I'm going to tie a knot and then a bow over here on the left. So now the way I like to do that is I actually loop under so that I catch all of the threads together and I kind of pinch them all together. Oh, thanks, Danielle. So I've tied that knot, and not very well, so luckily it's still loose, and I'm going to redo that. Whew. Okay, so here we come in here and wrap it around and tie that knot. And it's still very loose. What is going on? Okay, third time. You know, I tie a million of these, and then I don't know why when I'm on screen I often have trouble. Never off screen. All right, we're going to come in, and I'm just going to try rewrapping that because I think the problem is it's getting stuck over here. Okay, let's just make sure. Okay, everything's fine there. And quiet while I concentrate. Oh, come on. Oh, I see what's happening. I'm dragging my pinky across it for some reason this morning. That's weird. Okay, there we go. Now we have a proper knot. So now I'm just going to adjust these so that they're kind of spread out the way I want them to be. And straight. Straight is good. All right, there. Now that I've got that tied in a knot and all straightened out the way I want it, I'm just going to do 2 bunny ears, loop them around, and so right here a lot of my customers would say, oh, well, this is definitely an avid card because you're making me tie a bow. So many of my customers do not like tying bows, and I tend to put a lot of bows on my cards. All right. So we've got our little bow. I'm going to snip these off so that they're going to stay on our card front. I don't like it when bits hang off the front of my card. I know that's a thing and a look, but it's not one that I enjoy when I'm creating or trying to put a card into an envelope. All right, with that all done, we can now adhere this to our card base. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue. You could use dimensionals, you could use tear and tape, Seal Plus, you name it. Just something that's going to get this onto our card front and make it stay. All right. There we go. So just get that a little push to make sure it stays. And now we get to have some fun decorating the rest of our card front. So I'm going to grab another one of those scraps that I was talking to you about. I have way too many of these. Okay. And this one's a long one. That's okay. I'm going to cut it up and do what I need to do with it. So just like I did on the last card, I'm going to stamp my sentiment onto this strip of paper. And unlike last time, I'm going to start with my paper vertical so I don't mess it up. There we go. So we've got that done. Now, oh yes, I know. Once they figure out who knows how to tie bows, Danielle, your customers will always ask you to do it. Okay, so I'm going to give this a little diagonal snip again. But this time I'm actually going to be a bit more specific in that I'm going to lay this down and really see where it goes to and use my thumbnail to give a little marking there. And that's where I'm going to trim my paper. So that's going to get glued down right there in a moment. But first of all, I am going to come in. So I know that that end is already nice and straight. I'm going to come in and do another snip, just slightly smaller. And then I'm going to actually distress this. So I'm going to fold it up, crumple it up, and then I am going to unfold it. Okay. So I did folds because we've got these lines in the background that are kind of geometric, and so by doing folds, it kind of gives this piece that same kind of look, and it's just a little bit distressed. And I'm going to do it to our one with our sentiment as well, now that I'm sure that that ink has dried. So it's not truly crumpling, we're just systematically folding our paper and then unfolding it. So just like our paper has a distressed look, now our sentiment papers have a distressed look. It's very important that you stamp first and then distress it. Otherwise your stamping is going to get like all weird. Okay, so we've got those two pieces to attach. Now I can use liquid glue to attach these, but then I'd have to like hold them in place for a little bit for the glue to dry slightly. So I'm actually going to grab my Seal Plus and run a strip of that along the back. And this is just going to make sure that it really stays flat and I don't have to stand here and hold it to make it stay in place. There we go. So got a little bit of extra adhesive sticking out the ends. I'll just push that down there, and this one as well. So you can see once we've glued this down, the distressing goes away a bit more. It's not quite as bold as it was when I first did this. It's just a little bit fancy way to get some texture happening. Actually, a not fancy way to get some texture happening. Very low key. Okay, with those on there, we're going to grab our pineapples. Now, for those of you who are waiting for me to use dimensionals, the wait is over. You know I couldn't actually create like an entire card video without dimensionals. So now I kind of put this a little bit closer than I maybe should have. We're going to have some trouble fitting our pineapples in. I have to layer them up more than I wanted to. That's okay. So we're going to do the one that needs to go close to our words first. So I just done, actually I'm going to do 3 on here. It's a fairly large image. So top, bottom, and middle with our pineapple. And I'm going to pop him in here as far over as I can, and also trying to keep him on my card. Don't want him going off the top. The DSP is called Fine Art Floral. It's it's mostly florals actually, and then the other side are all these awesome, like I guess you'd call them almost batik patterns. There's like some in pinks and yellows, blues. I can go grab the pack for you in a second and show you all of the really gorgeous stuff that comes in this designer series paper. All right, and then I'm going to pop this one down a little bit lower. There we go. And we're just about done our card. We just have to add some embellishments. And my favorite embellishment, if you've listened to me over the last few, well, since our catalog came out, the annual catalog last year, my favorite embellishment right now is the Artistry Blooms self-adhesive sequins. So I'm going to grab these kind of like yellowish ones, and I'm going to pop them on here. They're kind of like yellowish orange depending on what background you're putting them on. There's actually, oh yeah, those are the yellow ones. There's yellow, orange, and like purpley and blue. So lots and lots of colors in here. I don't know if I have a few blues left. I used up a ton of blues getting ready for the butterfly stamp camp that I have coming up. So there you have it, our little embellishment added onto there. So I'm going to grab that designer series paper to show you, Danielle. It's also listed, if you follow the link in my video description, it takes you there. But so it's got some like blushing bride, some yellows, some deeper pinks, all the florals, some like awesome oil pastel paintings, like, oh, and the gorgeous oranges. So some really, really beautiful images here on this paper. So that is our final yellow card. So we created 3 cards today. I'm just going to bring them down and show them to you. Kind of our progression here from super simple to not over the top, just, you know, way fancier. And so you can kind of step up your cards in this way. Start with a simple design and then think, okay, what can I do? Oh, let's add a designer series paper. Okay, what can I do? Let's add some embellishments. Let's add some texture. Let's add some dimension. So yeah, One card, 3 ways. There you have it. All right, let's see if I can switch back and actually get the screen display. Okay, hopefully you guys are seeing my face now. I'm still seeing a blank screen. Yeah, so that was today's Stampin' the Rainbow, focusing on yellow. I do have my ink pad special. Tomorrow we have the free shipping special, and all week long I'll have more videos coming at you with the rest of the rainbow until we finish up at the Pot of Gold on Saturday. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye!